My name is Tricia Bent-Goodley, and I'm a professor of social work here at Howard University. I'm a New Yorker, and so I came here to Howard University 15 years ago, having been a practicing social worker in New York. And I have 3 brothers, and so I kind of always saw myself as one of them in a lot of ways. I'd always looked at race. I really had not focused on gender. My mother worked really hard. She was an assistant in a library. I would have to go to the library after school. I spent a lot of time there. And I would watch how people treated her and how people talked to her. And it stood out to me because she had to keep that job because she had us. Being in graduate school, and one day one of my professors, it was a white woman, and she was teaching a class on women. And she made a comment about women having never worked outside the home before the 1920s. And I asked her, what does she know? Or I didn't ask her that quite directly, but I talked about the fact that Black women were forced to work outside of the home coming to this country. And she said to me, I don't even know what you're talking about. There's no scholarship about that. There's nothing out there about that. I sat and looked at some of the other Black students in the class. Nobody said anything. She had said in the class, if you have real scholarship, come and bring it next week. Other than that, you need to just stop. So that week, I worked my tail off to be able to bring some real scholarship. I actually talked to other people and they shared what they had with me. And that next week, I came back into that room with books and articles about Black women and our history and the richness and the diversity of our story. And she was really upset when she walked in the class. She actually ran out crying. And a few of my friends were really upset with me, and they asked, how could you do that to that faculty member? And I felt a little bad in some ways. Well, anyway, I went out and I was walking down the hall one day, and the only Black professor in the school pulled me aside and said, come, let me talk to you for a minute. And I knew I was in trouble. But when I went into his office, he said, I just want to say thank you for having the courage to do what you did. And it really meant a lot to a lot of us. I felt so good in that moment because it just reminded me of the power of our voice, and I was proud that I wasn't silent. Be true to yourself. Don't allow yourself to cave into what other people think you should be. Be true to who you are. God's given each of us something amazing, and it's up to you to decide how you're going to use that. But by doing that, we also, in the end, can't be denied. That has to be what's firing you to be able to go out there and handle it and get through it.
Makers.